All right, let's take a look at number 8 together. You're working hard on Khan Academy to try to get your extra credit points. Right now you have 12,000 points. You know that you can earn 1,500 points every hour that you work. Fill in the table and graph below to show the relationship between Khan Academy points and hours. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and not just use X and Y, but I'm going to label it a little bit more thoughtfully. And so it looks like there are two important variables here, the relationship between Khan Academy points and hours. When I look at that, what I'll notice is that hours is the independent variable because the amount of points I get depends on the number of hours I work. So I'm going to put hours in here. I'm going to change the size of my pen so it doesn't look like garbage. Here's hours, and that means over here I have Khan Academy points. And so if I put 0 more hours into it this semester, it looks like because I've already got 12,000 points, I'll just keep those 12,000 points. Okay, and then it says after every single hour, I'll earn 1,500 points. So I'm going to add 1,500 here. And so let me shrink that a little bit just for the sake of things later. And so 12,000 plus 1,500 is 13,500. And then I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to add 1,500 again for another hour. And so that's going to be 15,000. And I'll just continue making my table here, adding 1,500 every time because it's a constant rate of 1,500 per hour. And so that's going to be 16,500. And then it'd be 18,000. And then 19,500. And this should be 3, 4, 5 as we add single hours. And so now I need to make a graph, and so I need to decide on my scale here. And so I'm going to notice that my lowest value in hours is 0, highest number is 5, so I need to go from 0 to 5. So I'll count here is 0, I'll make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll label this hours. Don't forget those labels. Okay, and so then I need to have everything from 0, because that's below 12,000, up to 19,500. That's almost 20,000. And so I think I'll do this. I'll do 5,000 here, 10,000 here, and I just use a guess and check method on this. So I'm going to see if it works, and if it doesn't, I'll go back, erase, and try again. And so there's 20,000, and so it looks like everything I need to fit will fit in this case. And of course I've got to label that KA points. Okay, so let's go ahead and get graphing then. I'm going to make my dot a little larger here, and so at 0 hours it's going to be 12,000 points. And so the way that I've got this labeled, I think maybe I'll add a couple more labels in here just to make it a little bit easier on myself. Half of 1,500 or 5,000 is 2,500, and then this is 7,500, and this is 12,500, and then this would be 17,500. So I have a little bit more data to work with in terms of estimating my points. So 0 and 12,000, that's going to be right around there. 1 and 13,500, I'll go over to 1 and then up, and I need to go to 13,500. And so there's 1,500 between 12,000, or 2,500 between 12,500 and 1,500. So 13,500 should be around here. And then 2 is 15,000, so that's going to be around here, and that makes it look like I estimated this a little bit too high, maybe right around there. And then because it should start to look like a nice line. 3 is at 16,500, so that's going to be around there, and 4 is at 18,000, which should be right about there, and then 5 is at 19,500, which is right about there. And then I can kind of make a line that goes through those. Something I've seen some students do that is really nice on Notability is that you can show the line or the trend with a highlighter instead. Okay, so the next question it asked me is, what is the slope of the function? The basketball team's running by outside. What is the slope of the function? Well, when I think about the slope of the function, I have to think about how much the output goes up. So the change in output over the change in input. And in this case, the change in output was plus 1,500 per hour. So it's plus 1,500 points per 1 hour. And so that's equal to, when you divide it out, 1,500 points an hour. What is the y-intercept of the function? It's the starting point, and if you'll recall, it started here. If you look at our table, or you can look at the information, it's what you already have. And so this is going to be 12,000. But since it's a y-intercept, I'm going to write it as a point. Write a rule for this situation in function notation. So remember, function notation has the f of x thing going on. And so I'll have f of x equals, I have 12,000, and I'm adding 1,500 every hour, where x is number of hours. Remember to define your variables whenever you write them. What is the appropriate domain for this function? Okay, so let's think about this. Fill in a table and graph below to show the relationship. I'm going to think about this issue of Khan Academy a little bit more deeply here for a second. I'm going to notice that with Khan Academy, all of your math teachers, all your algebra teachers have told you that it is unlimited. You can get as many points as you want. And so you can also think about parts of hours. You can think about doing just 1.27 hours and that kind of thing, and you'll get some number of points for that. So if that's the case, it seems like decimals are okay. It seems like it's unlimited. And so when I think about the appropriate domain, I just have to notice that you can't do negative hours on Khan Academy. So I think the domain is all positive numbers. And that seems reasonable enough. All right, there you go.